2 things you may not know about me. 1, I've never worn a pink hoodie before. Although it's actually violet, so technically I still haven't worn a pink hoodie. And 2, my background is actually music, so when it comes to choosing tracks for my videos, I can be very picky. And if it's not quality, I won't use it. And the one platform that I've always been able to rely on when it comes to quality music is Epidemic Sound. Some of the licensing websites can be very hit and miss when it comes to quality, but you can guarantee that all the tracks on Epidemic Sound have been professionally recorded and they just sound amazing. Whatever genre you go for, just everything sounds great. It's just amazing. I'm going to show you how I choose music for my YouTube videos as well as my client work. I'm also going to give you some tips on editing, sound levels, and I'm going to show you how to create more engagement within your YouTube videos to get people watching for longer. And isn't that what we want? That's what you want, to get that watch time in. Up. I'm so proud to announce that this video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound, and they're going to be offering you a 3-month trial with the link in the description below. So if you've not checked them out before, this is definitely the perfect opportunity to do so now. By now, you probably all know what Epidemic Sound is, who they are, and how good it is, because it's one of, if not the most popular music platform for music licensing, and for good reason. But I've been using them since even before I started my YouTube channel, and I'm going to tell you why I love them so much, and I'm going to be talking about my favourite features of Epidemic Sound throughout this video. Now, they've got a number of different plans, so not only is it good for personal creators with YouTube channels or podcasts, but it's also amazing for people who create content for other companies and brands, and even TV. And because it's fully licensed music, there's no worry of receiving a claim or getting your videos taken down. So it's just the ultimate tool for people like us. It's Watch time is one of the most important metrics within your YouTube channel, and one of the easiest yet overlooked ways of increasing that watch time is with the use of music. Now, a good place to start is obviously to have music underneath you talking, like what I've got happening now, and because what that does is it adds to the pace of the video. Any pauses in between sentences, and I do a lot of that because I'm not very good at speaking, it just kind of fills in those little gaps and just ups the pace a little bit to keep people more engaged. And it just flows a little bit better as well than without. I mean, listen to this. This is an example of me talking without any music. And as you can hear, it's a little bit flat. It's not as engaging and exciting. It doesn't feel like there's anything coming next. And it can be a little bit awkward, especially if it's all the way through. But by adding music underneath, it feels completely different. It fills in those gaps, makes it more engaging, and it adds to the personality of the person talking. It can also add to the narrative of the video as well. For example, if I was talking about something sad, I might add something like this over the top of the video, and it's just going to accentuate that point a little bit more and draw you in to this heart-wrenching story right now. Add chapters within your video to break up each segment. That gives the viewer something new to latch onto. They know that you're starting a new chapter of the video and they're going to hold on that little bit longer to see if there's anything worthwhile watching next. And a great tip here is to change the music for each chapter, and that grabs people's attention because something new is happening. So once you finish one chapter, ramp up the music, put a little text thing in there or something like that, something visual. You've grabbed their attention, drop the music down, and then you can go into your next point. I often choose a genre for each video. I like funk because it's quite upbeat and gets people in a good mood, and I just like it anyway. So try and choose something, a style that you're into anyway and that shows your personality, but obviously you want to choose something that helps the video in itself. If you, like I said earlier, if you're talking about something sad, you don't want to go for like party music. But it's also a good idea to drop the music out when you're trying to make a point that you want to get across that's serious, or when something funny happens. So it's just as important to know when not to use music as it is to know when to use music and the right music. I can't stress enough the importance of choosing the right music for whatever video it is you're working on. If you're doing wedding video, you need to choose music that suits the couple, their personalities, and the vibe of the day. You need to portray the right emotion or feeling. and also express a brand, for example, and a company's values. And for a YouTube video, for example, or documentary, whatever it is you're doing, you need to be able to add pacing and change with the flow of the video to help grab people's attention. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to you. I'm chopping my fringe off. Mind you, it needs a good snippy. And the reason why I love Epidemic Sound so much is because it's so difficult to find the right music. They have got an extensive library of tracks. They've got over 35,000 tracks and they add to that weekly. They've also got 90,000 sound effects, which I'm going to talk about later on in the video. But with a library so big, it just means that it's so much easier for me and creators like us to find the perfect track. And the tools to help you do that as well are so good. For example, you can search by genre, by album, by mood, and it has a playlist feature and a favorites feature, so you can choose all your favorite tracks and save them into a playlist for later on. So for example, I've got a whole wedding playlist and I put all the suitable wedding tracks in there so that later on I can just dip into that. I've got one for sport, vlogs, YouTube videos, rock, all sorts. I've got loads of stuff. One of my favourite features though is the similar tool. There's a little icon next to each track, and what that will do, let's say you're on a track at the moment and you like the sound of it, press that similar button and it will bring up a list of tracks similar to that one. And this is great because sometimes you'll come across a song that's really good but not quite right for the video that you're doing. Press the similar tool and I guarantee you'll be able to find the perfect one, and I've used that so much and it's super handy, so I love that. When it comes to choosing music for your YouTube channel, it's important to pick something that you like because it's going to make your video more unique to you and show your personality. I like funk and jazz. I also like rock as well, but we can't use that anymore because Peter McKinnon's put his stamp on that and we just get ripped by other YouTubers if we use similar tracks. So yeah, I try and stay away from what people have already used if I can. But seriously, it does have to be something that you are into as well as telling the story within the video. Because if it's not unique to you and what you like, you're just sort of copying someone else or using music for the sake of it. So this is the chance to really dig deep into Epidemic Sound's library and choose something that expresses you as a person. You want to think about the volume levels, it's really important. I aim for my dialogue to be between -6 and -3 dB. That just gives me a little bit of headroom within my video so I'm not going to get any clipping. I've got a whole other video on how to set your audio levels and camera settings up here, you can have a look at that. But then when you add music underneath your talking, I tend to aim for around -27 dB. Doesn't have to be bang on. It obviously as well depends on the genre of music and how dynamic that music is as well. But that's a rough starting point. In the breaks in between your talking, for example like chapter changes and stuff like that, I tend to aim to get the music up to about -5, -6 dB, something like that. You don't want it to be as loud as you're talking because dynamically the music is louder than you're talking naturally because it's got more instruments, depending on what it is obviously, but it's going to sound louder, so you've got to be very careful with that. You don't want to blow people's ears off. Another one of Epidemic Sound's key features is the ability to download stems. Stems are the individual musical components. So for example, you can download just the drums, just the bass, or you can take the vocals out or the lead melody and stuff like that. And this is so handy because it can be quite distracting if you've got a jazz saxophone blasting some licks out underneath while nobody can understand what you're trying to say. So if you download the stems, you can get a nice drum and bass underscore, and it's just a nice little pad underneath you talking. It's not going to distract you. So when it comes to like B-roll sequences and stuff like that, don't just take the full track as it is and put your footage over the top of that. Get creative with it and chop it up a little bit. Use sections that will tell the story a little bit better and create sort of ebbs and flows. So I tend to take the introduction, I mean this isn't all the time, but I'll take the introduction to set the scene of the song and what's going on in the shots. Then the lead riff, and then I'll add in like a chorus or a middle 8 section like that as the main part of the video. And then I'll maybe choose something to play the video out, maybe like a chorus and just fade it down or something like that. So what I'll do here is I'll chop the track up and you get the parts that I want to use. Then when I add them together, I'll put these parts on separate tracks so that I can use my volume automation to blend those sections together and it sounds like one. Another helpful tool if you're using Premiere is to turn on the audio timecode metering, and you can scrub through to get finer adjustments, so you're not snapping to the next measurement, if that makes sense. So you can get super precise cuts exactly on the beat, so you haven't got like a jump when it gets to each section. Sound effects add another layer to hook your viewers into your videos even further. Now you can add them for comedic value, or to add that extra layer of depth within your B-roll if you haven't been able to capture the exact sound that you wanted while you were doing filming. Epidemic Sound currently has over 90,000 sound effects in their library, so you can be guaranteed that whatever you're looking for, you're going to be able to find it. And because they're adding stuff all the time, if they haven't got it yet, they probably will do very soon. So whether you're a YouTuber, a podcaster, or if you create videos for other companies and brands, Epidemic Sound is the perfect platform and I highly, highly recommend them. I cannot say enough good things about them. I've been with them for years. The website is super easy to use and they've got a great built-in player, so it's easy to preview tracks. And on top of this, probably the most important thing actually, especially nowadays, their customer service and support is top-notch. They go above and beyond to try and make the user experience as good as possible. They do a lot of surveys to get feedback to improve the service for the user, and that is so valuable because and it just shows they're constantly trying to make it better for whoever uses it. Whenever I've needed to contact them about anything or if I've had any questions, they've been so helpful, really good at replying, really friendly, and it's just a great experience really. So if you did want to try them out, they're offering a free trial on the personal plan. So there's a link in the description that'll take you straight to the website using my personal code, and there's no obligation, you can cancel at any time. But what's cool about it is any videos that you do publish within that trial period, they'll still be protected. They're not going to be taken down. How good's that? Anyway, I'd love to know your favorite tip from this video and also your favorite feature of Epidemic Sound from what I've explained. So leave me a comment below. I always love to know what everybody thinks as well, so I like reading your comments. Thanks so much for watching. I've got so much stuff planned. It's amazing. I cannot wait to share it with you. I'm actually going on a trip tomorrow, but by the time you're watching this, I'll have already been and probably got back. So I'm going on a trip, and stay tuned for what's coming. I'm so excited to share it with you. I can't wait. My voice is going high. Should we breathe a bit? Let's breathe. Let's breathe together. Oh, it's getting warm in this. Never knew violet hoodies were so warm. Anyway, have a great week and I will see you in the next one.